Glad you could join us. We are joined, as always, by Greg Engert, beer director for the Neighborhood Restaurant Group of Food and Wine Sommelier of the Year. The group includes Iron Gate and GBD in DuPont Circle, also the Partisan and Red Apron in Penn Quarter. Greg, it is always good to see you.
See you too.
What is on tap this week?
So this week we have a new beer from Boulevard Brewing out of Kansas City, Missouri. It is their Bourbon Barrel Aged Quad, roughly based on Sixth Glass, which is a quadruple they make out of Boulevard. This is a beer that is aged in bourbon barrels, and basically they add it to lots of bourbon barrels, and they create a master blend from those barrels. Some of the barrels have held, some of the base beer has been held in bourbon barrels for up to 3 years. Wow. And the other cool thing they do is as the beers age, you get something called the angel share, because oak is semi-porous, so evaporation occurs, which basically lowers the level in the barrel, so you have headspace. To make up for that, they drop in cherries. So some of the barrels with more headspace, older barrels typically will have more cherries. Then they create a kind of master blend. So you end up with a Belgian-style quadruple, so 11.8%, dark fruit and spice components, rich, slightly sweet, bourbon character, and then cherry character as well.
It's lovely looking, I must say that.
That's dropped nice. So a good bit of oak in the nose you get from the barrel.
Oh, I like that. And the cherries in the finish. Just real light.
But like rich and smooth on the palate.
Ooh, and then a little more bourbon and the real far finish.
And barrel again, tannins too.
Yeah. And I am not a big fan of cherries. And I would buy this, so that tells you something.
Yeah, it's integrated, it's not overwhelming.
No, it's definitely not, but I mean, wow, very nice.
It is. I mean, so you talk about like food for this too. I mean, I think
Fly wants it. Get out. No, it's mine. There's no flies here, though. It's obviously.
no, it's a figment of his imagination. I think like food-wise, we have a lot of interesting things with this because, like you said, it's got that. It has that fruit quality, but it's not necessarily cherry. It's oaky on the palate, but in the nose, but not overwhelming. This is the beer. Obviously, you do it with rare meat. You can do it with some desserts, but I love cheese with this.
Oh yeah.
And it's funny. I recently attended a wine versus beer and cheese smackdown at National Geographic in DC, where Garrett Oliver, our friend Garrett Oliver, was competing against Josh Wesson. Beer versus wine. It was really cool, but the interesting thing is all stinky cheeses. So it got me thinking a lot about which beers pair well with those really funky, crazy cheeses out there. And what I think really does well are these kind of the bigger, bolder, barrel-aged kind of sweet beers with a little fruit character tend to tame some of the funk, but also work well. It's like adding a funk component to the beer, almost giving it a lambic-like quality, and it's really good. So these are like, the classic French Époisse, Ardrahan, which is a really cool Irish funky cheese, or Taleggio from Italy. And then in America, we have a bunch of cool ones too, like Red Hawk from Cowgirl Creamery, and many more. In fact, I don't know if you ever had Wisconsin brick cheese. It's like comes in little packages. It's weird. It's weird, and it's hard to find. But it's like basically stinky as hell.
Yeah,
it's like Limburg cheese.
No.
But anyways, that's another American kind of classic funky cheese. That's great.
Stinky
with
as
this.
hell is the quotation.
Right
there.
Right. And Rush Creek Reserve is another one from Upland. So I love this kind of beer with funky cheese. I think it's fantastic.
I'm not a stinky cheese fan. I love blue cheese, Gorgonzola, Stilton, and that would go well with
awesome with this as well. Yeah, totally.
A sharp cheddar.
Cheddar
and then
you're
for you crazy people who like that smelly stuff.
What's funny though is that there are people out there that think blue cheese, they just like blue cheese the way you just like funky cheese.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is funky. Blue can be funky too.
And I didn't like blue cheese when I was a kid. I don't know where that evolution happened, but I love it.
Grew up.
Particularly in olives in a martini.
Yeah,
that's for cocktail of the week tomorrow. These guys have just been doing solid work since they appeared on the scene. They just,
and have continued to do solid work since they were bought by Duvel Morcott last year. I think we talked about that at one point. But
if we did, I have forgotten that.
So Boulevard, And they started in 1989, but in 2013, Duvel Moortgat, one of the biggest Belgian breweries, makes almost 1 million barrels a year. Obviously Duvel, but others, Schoof Beers, DeConic, Leafmans, all comes from them. They've owned Omegang in upstate New York for almost 10 years now, I think. And so now they bought Duvel.
Duvel bought them.
Duvel bought Omegang, and now they bought Boulevard, I should say, yes. So it's interesting to see this consolidation. And then, just in the last few weeks, we've had 2 other consolidation things happen that are very interesting. One is Anheuser-Busch InBev, AB InBev, purchased 10 Barrel Brewing Company out of Bend, Oregon.
Okay.
Which is a really cool brewery.
Have we done any of theirs?
Yes, we have, but it was with Blue Jacket Stone collaboration, Suede.
Oh, okay, right.
So Suede was a collaboration we did with 10 Barrel back when they were independent. So their brewery was purchased by AB InBev. The second brewery that AB InBev has purchased this year, previously they bought Blue Point out of Long Island, New York. So that consolidation is happening. And just when people are like, oh no, consolidation, you got Belgian brewers buying American brewers, you have Belgian, South American brewers, AB InBev buying American craft brewers. Well, then we just had a craft brewer buy a smaller craft brewer, which was Green Flash Brewing Company, just purchased Alpine Brewing Company.
Oh, my favorite IPA in the world, the Alpine.
Which one, Duet or the Nelson?
Super or no?
Oh, well, that was, yes.
Was that a special?
So listen to this. This is really, that's funny you say that. So Nelson, Alpine did a collaboration with New Belgium. That's how most people on the East Coast know them.
Okay.
Super IPA.
Super IPA.
Which is coming out again right now.
Hell yeah.
Which is awesome.
If I was on a desert island, I'd take Super IPA.
So imagine if you like that.
That's how much I like Super IPA.
If you like that, that is very, very reminiscent and indicative of what Alpine does. Yeah. So the cool thing with this is Green Flash,
which is awesome
too. And also, I should mention, opening a brewery in Norfolk, Virginia.
Yes.
Is now.
I'll hit Stone in Richmond and then pop over to Norfolk.
Yeah, exactly. Is now going to be brewing Alpine beer. So it's a cool way that this happened. Alpine is in Southern California, Alpine, California. They were making 1,500 barrels a year, hardly nothing, hardly anything, and nobody could get their hands on it. So they started brewing some of their beers at Green Flash, their friends, to expand production. In 1 year's time, they were able to produce 3,000 barrels instead of 1,500. So I think Alpine was looking at funding their own expansion, and then just said, you know what? Green Flash is already expanding. We love them, they love us. We make great beers, but very distinct, different beers. Why don't we come together?
And the Alpine label will stay.
Will stay.
So they're merging in a way. Although
Green Flash is the bigger merger. Yeah, exactly. So they kind of subsume them, but all the Alpine people will stay kind of operating, and it's going to be great. And the dream for us East Coasters now is that in addition to getting fresher Green Flash beer than we've ever gotten on the East Coast, once they open the Norfolk Brewery, is that we will also get some incredibly fresh Alpine beers.
Wow.
So all consolidation is not bad, obviously.
No.
And we have to just come to grips with the fact that everything's blurring. For the longest time, we tried to delude ourselves with the idea that there's AB, Anheuser-Busch, Miller, Coors on the shelves, and they're like Big Brother, and their beers are something totally different, and their business model is totally different than the craft brewers. But over time, the lines have blurred, right? I mean, look at Sierra, Stone, Sam Adams, New Belgium, Lagunitas now, Deschutes. These breweries are getting so big that they look less and less like the classic hands-on craft brewer. Brewing between big brewers and small brewers isn't as different as people think it is. And at the end of the day, now that AB InBev is buying these breweries, Goose Island, Blue Point, and now 10 Barrel, for the longest time people will be like, oh, I hope they don't make their beers decrease the quality or water down their beers. Bottom line is, AB InBev, Miller Coors, those guys, they know more about quality than any craft brewer does, because that's what they've been doing, high-tech industrial brewing for so long. And they're not buying these breweries because they want to water them down. They're buying these breweries because they want to capitalize on their popularity. And I guess the lesson at the end is, whether you like this or not, it shows that good beer is winning.
Greg, thank you as always.
Thank you.
Everyone, always please do drink responsibly and be sure to bring your thirst next time for another Beer of the Week.